We know that long term, the real solution to the pandemic that we're experiencing right now is a vaccine, with the problem being that it's going to take quite a while for one to be developed and tested and then eventually made available, hopefully at an affordable price. What does Trump think about this vaccine? You might be surprised.
So, but how important do you believe a vaccine is to getting out of this? And what do you say to those that this growing anti-vax?
Well, I feel about vaccines like I feel about tests. This is going to go away without a vaccine. It's going to go away, and we're not going to see it again, hopefully, after a period of time. You may have some flare-ups, and I guess, I would expect that. Sometime in the fall, you'll have flare-ups, maybe. Maybe not, but according to what a lot of people say, you probably will. We'll be able to put them out. But eventually it's going to go away. The question is, will we need a vaccine? At some point, it will probably go away by itself. If we had a vaccine, that would be very helpful. Be very happy to have a vaccine.
That seems like a pretty significant change in stance to saying it would be helpful, but we don't need a vaccine. It will go away without a vaccine. And if it comes back, we'll stamp it out. And again, I don't know why reporters aren't asking a follow-up question. What the hell do you mean when you say stamp it out? There is no cure.
Right. No, that's exactly right. I mean, and I think Trump, like all hacks, are whipped by their audience to a certain degree. And he knows that he is gaining steam within the online anti-vax community.
Yes.
And so, he gets those reports. He understands which Reddits and, which Breitbart articles and which, weird YouTube channels are boosting him, and are proud that he's not taking it super seriously. Maybe it's because they don't believe in vaccines. Maybe it's because they believe that the coronavirus is killing the right kind of people, primarily Black and brown people, undocumented immigrants, people in prison, people that they've been demonizing and have an ideology of hate against. And that's what Trump represents to them. So it's very dangerous. Like, I think, he says at the end there, like, oh, yeah, it would be nice to have a vaccine. And maybe that would be great. But that's still a win for me, for people, if in the mind of anti-vaxxers.
Yeah. You're right. He doesn't want to turn off the crazies. And he knows that there's a whole bunch of communities of interlinked, but not necessarily 100% overlapping crazy people. There's the vaccine crazy people, the 5G crazy people, the, whatever. There's a lot of them. And the president of the United States wants those people to like him. And so he implies that a vaccine isn't necessary. Like, there are more and more people who are against all vaccines. But you would think, at least in this case, I mean, come on, 80,000 people have died. People are going to take the vaccine, right? But no, like there are right-wing personalities lining up to say, Candace Owens tweeted, no, I would never take a vaccine for coronavirus. These are popular people, very popular people. And the president has a chance to say, no, obviously we need a vaccine. That is the solution to this problem. We're doing everything we can to get one, by the way. And that's the thing, undercutting what he just said. He last week set up Operation Warp Speed to test and pass through all these potential vaccines as fast as possible. He's invoking Star Trek to say how important it is that we get this done quickly. But then in public, when asked about it, he says, you don't need one. No, it'd be nice, but no, we don't need one of those. Like, think about it. Is it just because of the vaccine, people, or is it, I don't know if we're going to actually get one. We're certainly not going to get one, no matter what I say, before the election. And since I've been telling people we're going to be just fine, if more bad news comes out, that might hurt me. So now I'm trying to downplay the need for it. Like, there is no aspect of the solution of the pandemic that the right is not actively attacking right now. Whether it's testing, vaccine, social distancing, literally using masks, all of it.
And I know it's I know this is sort of a ridiculous exercise, but we have to remember what the right-wing media would look like if there were a Democratic president. Just imagine, right, how much they would pummel. And rightly so, if a Democratic president, that's a nice Freudian slip. If a Democratic president were bungling this response to coronavirus as much as, Trump is, they would hammer him or her, right? And so, like, again, back to the, like, well, if Obama were president right now, they would suddenly take it seriously, and just how partisan they're making it. It's frightening. Like, what is the end game here? And it truly is to radicalize the most fringe of Americans to, and we've seen, take up arms and defy shelter at home orders, stick up for their president, etc.
Yeah. I want to read a quote. I forget exactly what article I pulled it from, but I read it over the weekend, and it seemed apt, so I'm going to read it. The plan is to have no plan, to let daily deaths between 1 and 3,000 become a normal thing, and then to create massive confusion about who is responsible. And I really do think it's as simple as that. I think that they figured out that it either would be too difficult to get the number of deaths down, or the solutions are just things they don't want to do. They don't want to extend the lockdowns and provide government aid so that the economy isn't decimated while that's going on. They just don't want to do that. And so the solution is let it run rampant, and then just, throw out enough, 5G towers and Bill Gates and, all this stuff, and say something cupboards were empty, whatever. Maybe be mad, but not too mad, because the numbers are probably inflated. That many people aren't dying anyway. They're probably just making it up. But even if you do get mad, just be mad at like everybody, kind of like a generalized mad, not mad at the people who not only were in a position to protect you, but swore that only they could protect you. Mm-hmm. That seems to be what the plan is.
Trump is giving up. Absolutely. He's the only president to withdraw from a war to ensure more casualties.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you said it. If nobody in the universe thinks that if this had hit in 2014 and Obama had presided over 80,000 people and counting dying, that Tucker Carlson would be like, you know what? I disagree with the president, but the important thing is that we get the economy going again. We just got to get back out there and be warriors. I stand with Obama. We're warriors. Who thinks that? There ain't no grifter paid well enough to admit that they think that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
No, and the real thing is, and I just want to say, and you've talked about this, we've talked about this, but if you don't have mass testing, which we don't, if you don't have a vaccine, which we don't, what you need is for people to stay at home. And that means you need economic compensation. You need better unemployment benefits. You need more than a $1,200 one-time stimulus check, and you need more of that immediately and consistently. And I know there has been a bill, introduced by Bernie Sanders and Kamala Harris to give Americans $2,000 a month, which absolutely, at the minimum, we should all be receiving because of this. And I think it's fine to prioritize frontline workers or prioritize people who are out of work. Yes. But that's the thing. They're basically saying, no, we're not willing to do what it takes to support Americans in order for all of us to keep our lives.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's not that we have to sacrifice our lives to the economy. It's that you're not willing to sacrifice your tax breaks so that we have a fighting chance.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.